and awesome demonstrations. So come on over and grab a seat over here. We got plenty of room available. And we got our buddy Pat up on the main stage from Grease and Gears Garage.
All right, folks. Hey, I don't care if you're shy or not. Come on over. Hey, you with the fake beard. That's not a fake beard. That's a hell of a beard, though.
Not
yours, ma'am. His. I wasn't picking on that. You have to live in that beard? With that beard. Okay, that's a different thing. So dermaplaning is something everybody can agree on. So that's no, I was just kidding. I'm at that place now in life where I have to dermaplane. So Grease.
What exactly is dermaplaning?
Dermaplaning. Women get these little. Women's facial hair is different than men's facial hair, in that when we shave ours off, it will grow back thicker and more coarse. Women's facial hair will not grow back more coarse. It just continues to grow at the same rate. So genetically, kind of physiologically, women's facial hair is different than men's. A lot of women fear that, if they have a fuzz, and it doesn't have anything to do, it's not age related. Some young women have, fuzzy faces. But they take a little razor and they just shave it off, and it makes like a little bunny rabbit sized pile. And then it's called dermaplaning because your skin is your derma layer.
Do you know how much it bothers me that you know all of this?
Hey, I tell you what,
stand in between me and
ladies, we can take a vote right now. I don't have any hairs. I have 2 eyebrows. I don't have hairy ears. I don't have hair sticking out of my nose, and my facial hair is trimmed.
He's talking.
I'm going to stop there, but manscaping should be a thing, right? Men should manscape. I'm just saying.
Aye.
All right, Grease and Gears Garage, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, this is what we do. Progressive International Motorcycle Shows has invited us up here. We all just love custom motorcycles, building bikes. Some of us have shops, some of us don't. But we're all just greasy mechanics, and they let us up on stage with our tools to be able to invite you into our garage. We Facebook Live this, so if you think I'm crazy, we've got a lot of people watching us out there. And but we invite you just to come and be in our garage and hang out with us, and there'll be some shop talk. Right now, Mark and Chris, Grease and Gears Garage crew, we're going to be showing you how to assemble a Springer front end. Very similar to this one, I'm assuming, because it's sitting on the...
Actually, this one.
It's sitting right there. So we're going to work on this Springer front end. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free. You can walk right up to the edge of the stage. If you want to see something closer, just say, hey, I'd like to see more of that. You can walk up here on stage, and we'll let you look at it. It's all good. This is just like our garages. At some point in the midst of this, somebody else might just wander up here. Another builder that we know might wander up here and just start talking to us and might teach us something. We always learn something. I've learned some stuff already this weekend. I've known Chris and Mark forever, and they taught me something about doing a radius on a fender with a fuel line. It was really smart. I probably will never teach those guys anything, but we learn something all the time.
You've taught me a lot.
There you go. I appreciate that. Dermaplaning.
See,
he knows about dermaplaning, and
so that's awesome.
How many women have you known and you didn't know that about him? You need to know things about the people that you're interested in, Chris.
I'm married.
You need to invest. You need to know that about her. She and I have talked about dermaplaning. I've talked with Heather, his wife, about dermaplaning.
Okay, now I'm really uncomfortable.
So, Daddy, we won't tell that story. Anyway, we got Chris and Mark. Chris, tell us what we're going to be doing up here at Grease and Gears Garage.
Well, here's the deal, man. This is a Paughco Springer. It's off my 1949 chopper, and this segment is going to be kind of a crossover between routine maintenance and something that you might find valuable even when you're finding your swap meet score if you pick up a Springer. So this particular Springer from Paughco I got brand new 6 or 7 years ago whenever I built my bike, and it is well past the 40,000 miles that they suggest that you rebuild a Springer at. Very, very good idea to keep maintenance on your Springer, because once these things, the bushings and, the spring collars start to go bad, you get movement. Anytime there's movement in the front end of your motorcycle, it interferes with the natural operation of the gyroscope that keeps a motorcycle on 2 wheels and directly results in you eating a face full of gravel. So we're going to go through the basics of rebuilding this Springer, show you guys there's only a couple parts that really go bad, so it's not a hard rebuild. I got to do this actually at Paughco with a gentleman named Rufino. Interesting thing, how many of you guys know Paughco and know, their Springers and their front ends, their frames and everything? Something cool about Paughco, the same guy for 25 years has built every Springer that's come out of there.
I didn't know that.
Guy by the name of Rufino, and like his station, it's where everything that happens with Springers. In his station, he has this really cool tricked out jig that he has together for rebuilding Springers and assembling them. Short of that, though, in your home garage, a simple ratchet strap. You want to come up to the headlight mount down to the axle. We're going to compress this, and you're looking for 4 1/4, a measurement of 4 1/4 between this top tree and the bottom of your front forks of your Springer. So let's grab a tape measure. Measure. We're going to compress that, and what that's going to let us do is get enough of the pressure off that we can start taking these spring packs apart.
Inside or outside?
Inside.
That's it, right there.
Okay. So at that point, you can see these are starting to get loose. Now we're going to pull our top bolts off and remove our spring packs. The spring packs, it's not something that you have to rebuild all the time, but since we're here, I've ridden this bike in a lot, like almost every state in the country. And
on-road, off-road.
Yeah. You can see that they're pretty chewed up and, starting to look bad. So it's as good a time as any to replace those springs along with the rest of the wearable parts.
Both at the same time, correct?
One at a time.
So we release just this off the
Yep.
top. Big nut and all.
Let me grab that other.
Now, Chris, how many years is it taking you to put 40,000 miles on this front end?
Well, I mean, I'm good with this bike for 5,000 or 6,000 miles in a year. I don't ride it as much as my touring bike, but
Right.
it is my motorcycle of choice. I waited my whole life to build a Panhead, and went through all the stuff of saving up the parts and wanted to build one exactly like my old man and his buddies rode around on. And this is a funny thing about the mind playing tricks on you. So I had this in my mind because I had a big fire when I was a younger man, had my first house, and lost all the pictures that I had, all my family pictures, all everything. So in my mind, when I started building this Panhead, I wanted to build the perfect Panhead, a tribute to my old man and all of his buddies. And when you think about that, as a kid, they rode around on rainbows and flames shot out of the pipes,
yeah.
and they were perfect motorcycles. So I started trying to build the perfect motorcycle, using the best parts and asking all my buddies to help out. And just about the time we were getting ready to do final assembly, an old guy that I knew that knew my old man came by with a shoebox full of those pictures. And I started flipping through that box, and those bikes that those guys built were cobbled together,
Horrible.
mismatched, nothing fit. And I was like, oh my God, they're horrible, compared to, and that's just an example, like where we are today with technology and the skill set that everybody has. Like, it's a really different world. I mean, they were still, because those all blue-collar guys, man, that was the best they were.
Well, Kiwi Mike just sold Jeff Kelderman an old Indian chopper that had been built in the late 60s, early 70s. And he's, man, I just bought this killer old Indian chopper. Well, it's at my shop now, and I couldn't believe how that frame was put together. I'm going to have to put it on a frame jig. And, boy, I tell you, that thing was hobbled. But
So
that's why they rode them.
You can see if we're showing from the side camera, just normal wear and tear over years, and they're getting kind of rusty because there's no good way to clean this stuff if you're riding all the time. It's hard to get in all the little nooks and crannies, especially because these spring packs come together. Getting inside there to keep things clean is impossible.
Does Mark not just disassemble this and clean it for you regularly?
No. I ain't got it like that with Mark. Mark's a busy man. So we're going to pull those top springs off. Okay. So Pretty sure I can get these collars out of the way. The collars are one of the things that's on your list of wearable parts. You'll see we have an older set of rods here just to show this purpose. What ends up happening is where these collars ride on this rod all the time, because you don't have a whole lot of movement in your Springer. Where those ride, it starts to eat away here, and it starts to round out the collar, and you end up with that clearance that I'm talking about that starts to move your front end around. So
right
this is what we're going to do. We can now ease the pressure off of this thing. Maybe. Huh? Did you get that?
That scared me. You got me. He got me.
Okay. Yeah, now we can take our, let's take our bottom of the rods off. We'll actually get our axle out of the way here, because at the same time, we're going to start working on the bottom of the Springer at the same time.
You want to remove these rods one at a time?
Yes.
That's what this says.
Yeah, we have a visual aid.
Made me look smart. You know, I've done a lot of stuff with motorcycles. I've never rebuilt a Springer. Have you not? I've just never done it. I don't think I've ever had a customer that rode one far enough to need it rebuilt.
Well, and see, this is why I thought this was a good thing to talk about. Right now, you know, you got another generation coming into this stuff, and they're coming in and they're looking for the deals at the swap meet on Craigslist, you know, the new
right on.
Facebook Marketplace and all of that. So it's good to give them a look at, you know, being responsible, doing the right maintenance. If you're getting something old, you know, take a look at these parts and really give consideration for what might need done to them before you get out on the road and maybe hurt yourself or somebody else.
If you're even buying a relatively recent build, you know, with an Evo motor, I mean, you could get one of these that's 20 years old. You don't know how many miles have been ridden over the last 20 years. So, yeah, this is good information. Just never did it.
So I'm going to use a little pool noodle here just to keep from scratching my stuff up. These rods, I'll let you see on the new one here, you can see are tapered at the very top where they come into the top of the front fork. So when you're taking this apart as a rebuild, if you got an older thing, it may take some tapping to get those out. You may have to use a drift. Let's still go. Okay. So there's our rods out, and there's our bottom spring packs. Same deal, you can see a bunch of rust and stuff on these. They're definitely ready to be changed. We'll keep these for some neat ornamental lawn sculpture.
A trophy.
Trophy.
Building trophies.
So with that done, we can remove the front fork. You know, the basic idea of the way this thing works is on a rocker from the bottom. Those spring packs obviously keep the whole thing tight, keep it where it needs to be with the weight of the motorcycle. This is a great opportunity to take a look at this whole area, make sure we don't have any damage here that might need to be welded, repaired, otherwise machined, and to clean some stuff because, again, it's rusty and dirty up there.
It's dirty in there. I got my pinky dirty.
You should be careful because we've made it through this whole show and you haven't had to wash your hands nearly once.
I know. Well, I did because I went to the bathroom twice today, and I wash my hands every time I go to the bathroom, gentlemen. No, it's true. He watched me.
Almost every time.
Okay, every other time.
Friend of yours?
I heard him. I'm ignoring him because he's saying that I'm not hygienic.
Okay, well, Mark's cleaning the top of that up. I'm going to grab some...
I'm the guy on tour that brings baby wipes every place with me, man.
Little needle nose plier action.
I'll go into detail. I'll show you.
And I'm going to start removing these cotter pins that hold the castle nuts on the bottom so we can get these rockers off.
And talk about what a castle nut is because not everybody's familiar with that term. So, and where
castle
else
nut,
you might find a castle nut?
Castle nut you can find on front end parts of your car, on anything, lawnmower stuff, anything that needs for the nut to stay in a specific position, a specific tightness. They'll put the castle nut at the end with a hole drilled through the bolt so that you can put a cotter key. Now, a cotter key helps hold everything in place.
And if you happen not to have a castle nut for some reason, I just I've been known to drill a hole through the nut and the bolt all the way through and just take safety wire and spin it up. That's another way. Just keeps it from.
Yeah, I mean, that's, that's not actually entire hillbilly. I thought.
No, it's not. I mean, I still do it. I mean, because safety wire looks cool. Looks cooler than cotter pins, I think.
And now since we know the secret with the clamp tight.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy. Rufino.
Oh, I got to go back. I gave you a sneak preview of the next thing. That's a no-no. For those of you that are just joining us on Facebook Live or just wandering here around the show, it's Grease and Gears Garage. We've got Chris. He's the founder, editor, owner of Cycle Source Magazine. We've got Mark, who works with them. They have a shop together, Flat Broke Chops and Rods. Is that what it is?
It is.
All right. I don't want to screw up your shop
I'm the
name.
chops. He's the rods. It's like Big and Rich, but neither one of us have money or sing.
So, but they work together out of that shop and built some beautiful motorcycles over the last few years. One of them is here. A Little Twisted is right over there by the slingshot display.
I think the only yellow bike in the whole place.
I think it is the only yellow bike in the whole place. So you can check that out, A Little Twisted. But and I'm Pat Jansen, Sin Central Garage. But we do Grease and Gears Garage just to invite you into a garage setting. Our garage, these are our tools. Progressive International Motorcycle Shows, allowing us to do the entire 7-show series with them. And we just invite, today it's a Grease and Gears Garage crew right now in this segment, but usually we have builders from all over the country that just come up and show what they do in their shop. So if you have a question, you can hit us up on Facebook Live. If you are out here watching, you're more than welcome to ask a question. If you need a better view, we'll let you come up and look. So don't be shy. We're just guys hanging out in a garage today. Right now, we're rebuilding a Springer front end that's been on Chris's Panhead.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, another memory for that Panhead, because we kind of do a lot of things the old way. Another memory from that Panhead was when we were putting it together, I was lucky enough to do the motor and the transmission with Roadside Marty and his father.
Yeah.
And Roadside Marty's daddy does things the old way. I mean, he's been doing bikes forever, and he literally taught me everything about the Panhead motor. I got to put my hands on, he sat there with me and walked me through it all. So it was a real treat to do it that way. I mean, he could have very easily just said, "Yeah, send me some money. I'll do the thing for you." And then
I like Roadside Marty. We need to have him at one of these shows.
We do. He's my brother right now. We're praying for him because he's going in for some surgery.
He's the king of tricks.
He is. He knows the tricks, but he didn't come up with them. His dad did. But
yeah, right.
But, hey, at least Roadside was smart enough to pay attention all those years.
Okay.
When's he going in for surgery?
Within the next week, I believe.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard that. How's Charlie Ransom doing? Have you heard?
He's doing really good. Anyone out there that knows Charlie knows that he had a little accident. Send your prayers out for him too.
Wall of Death, if you've ever been to an event, he got a little bumped up right there before Thanksgiving.
Okay. So with that, we're going to move the last two castle nuts for the main fork.
Let me see one of those castle nuts, if you don't mind. The reason they call it a castle nut is because it looks like the top of a turret that you would see classically on a castle. So it's got the little cutouts there so that the archers can sit inside the nut and shoot the enemy from the turret. So anyway, that is why they call it a castle nut. And
okay,
not everybody knows that.
So now that we got our rockers off, this is one of the most important parts in rebuilding a Springer that you want to pay attention to. Inside these rockers, they're bushings, and they'll be different from manufacturer to manufacturer. Sometimes they're nylon, sometimes they're brass, sometimes they're oil light. But these are the things that you want to constantly keep check on, because obviously anything with movement, friction is going to wear that out. You're going to want to replace that so you don't get side-to-side movement on it.
Is there, talking to the folks at Paughco, is there a preference for brass, oil light? Is there?
Theirs are out of nylon, And I mean, with as long as Ruffino has been doing it, if nylon's good enough for a man who's, I mean, I think his number was 15,000. That's how many Springers he's built out of there.
I'll go with nylon.
Right. I mean, typically, like some of the import parts, when they get down to the cheap plastic bushings on stuff, we'll take them. We've even written in the magazine about taking those and reworking them with oil light. You know, I mean, replacing those plastic bushings. But, you know, in this application, I'm going to stick with what the manufacturer says.
Oil light would be a bushing that's made out of metal that's impregnated with oil that just kind of, it's an unusual thing to have a solid with a liquid that somehow is able to sustain in it. And the way they do that in the manufacturing process is Keebler elves that get fired from making crackers and cookies actually hire on there, and they do elf magic, and that's how they do that.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
So Mark's getting us a
I know stuff
tool.
too. I know stuff too.
So punch the rest of that bushing out. Almost. Okay, so for the point of discussion, you get to this point, you know, again, with normal wear and tear, before you go to put new parts in, you want to make sure that everything you're putting back together, you know, with a simple reamer, we're going to make sure we don't have any burrs along any of these parts. You know, physically inspect what you're doing. On this particular bike, we're actually going to go ahead and install completely new rockers. So this is just a point to talk about for reference that, you know, the bushings, you want to make sure that your area in here when you're putting your new bushings together, that you might not need to go to an oversized bushing. You know, if you ever have any questions for stuff like this, the old guy in the neighborhood that has all those motorcycles, take it over to him and just be like straight up, hey, man, I need to know about this. Look, this is where I'm at. So
is it?
What's that? Well, mine are ugly, you know, so I just want to clean them up a little bit. I mean, I've abused this motorcycle so much that it's actually sitting at home. We pulled the motor out of it. We pulled the transmission out. And I'm going to give it some much-needed TLC because all I've been doing for 7 years is riding this thing hard and putting it away. And, I mean, it surely deserves some extra time before it gets back out there. So my new rockers, new Castle nuts.
Are they the same style, just prettier?
Absolutely the same. It came right from Paughco. And generally, I mean, if you're lucky enough like me that Paughco's still in existence, this same Springer they make and sell in their catalog, then you're not going to have a hard time. But here's the deal with that. If you get a front end at a swap meet, this is a part that somebody machined once upon a time. Somebody else can remachine it. Go to your local machine shop guy. We've talked about that, 100 times, that having those relationships, knowing a guy that has a McMaster car catalog, first of all, and getting in on that action, because that's my lifesaver. So here we are with new bushings. We got a nice, comfortable fit with those. How are you doing that? Okay. What's that?
Let's not put it
Yeah.
together. You can if you want.
We did the other front end backwards. I think we can do this one the right way.
These guys gave me a rash and a little bit, not bad, but they did point it out in front of, I think we had 40,000 people viewing at the time on War Pony. I held the front end up first time I put it on there on stage, and I put it on backwards. It's a sport bike front end, right? So I'm like just getting it on there. They made fun of me. And then last week in New York, these two smart guys, they put it on backwards too.
And the worst thing was,
is that what it was? Just to make me feel better.
The worst thing was that Evan Favaro called us out on it.
Oh yeah, Evan from.
And he said, I'm slipping into the old guy mentality so easy. So this young guy says to me, hey man, you gonna run that front end backwards like that? And I looked at it and realized I'd done something stupid, and he was calling me on it. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, I'm going to run it that way. I said, that's a problem with you kids today. You can't think outside of the box. I said, maybe that's going to be cooler than something you would do. How about that?
Because the brakes are going to work because the calipers are in the front. I'm going to run those calipers that way. But what's really funny, and I know Chris is slipping in an old guy category, because later that night when nobody was listening, he was like, I guess those brakes would work that way. He was trying to convince himself that he could make it work. just to prove he wasn't wrong.
And then I said, hey, while everybody's gone, help me change that front end around. A little bit. Oh, well, you said you want to stay on the motor.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay, so we're gonna wait. Flip that back over. We're gonna wait to do the final tighten to get our cotter pin holes in line until we get everything started back on here. So let's get that the front tree out.
Okie dog.
Down here.
Oh yeah, it's.
Put our pool noodle back in place.
Pool noodles are handy things, even other than just keeping kids alive in a pool, man. I tell you, you use them for everything. You seen those? Well, I mean, I'm a redneck, so I can say it. But I mean, you seen those rednecks that'll put them around the top of a 5-gallon bucket, fill it full of ice? Well, yeah. Put it. Jesus. Do you know those guys? That you must know. I mean, I get in trouble for that kind of stuff, man. I do that. I said doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
I said doo-doo. Did you hear that? We're like 13-year-old boys.
Yep.
No, they put it around a 5-gallon bucket, fill it with beer and ice, and it floats around in the pool or on a river or whatever. Like that. I guess you could do that on a...
Wow. I just gave you credit for not taking something into the hillbilly depths, and then you went.
And I just went there. Yeah, I mean, I'm hillbilly. I mean, there's no getting around it. If you can rig something, I'll rig something.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll get this one on.
Heck, man, there's 3 stories in this house my wife bought in Iowa.
Okay,
and there's stairs. I'm fat, so we don't agree.
Right.
So I had found a corner in the house, and I was like, it goes all the way from the bottom floor up to the top. And I was like, well,
Ready?
Heck, man, I put an elevator in there. And she said, well, elevators are expensive. And I'm like, no, it's not.
A little bit
So
more.
I said, I'm just going to cut a 4x4 hole,
A little bit more.
and I'm going to put a winch.
Okay.
And she was like, eh.
Yeah. Where's the hole at?
I'd figured out how to put an elevator in my house. My dad's only got one leg. He's in a wheelchair. I was like, this is perfect. I'll just put him on there.
Right.
She's like, you would put your father. And I'm like,
Flip that over.
yeah, he'd be totally down with that.
So all we're doing now is getting the
He'll be a great grandfather.
castle nuts lined up so that our cotter pins will slip back in. Nope. I think that's good. A little bit more.
With a castle nut, Chris, you're not torquing these to any particular spec. They just need to be snug. They don't need to be dog poo tight. See how I can save myself there?
No, because you have a bolt here, and that's actually good that you brought that up.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You actually have a bolt here that's machined with a natural shoulder. What that does when it bolts into the front end, it's going to bottom out on its own, and it's going to leave that bushing in enough space so that there's free play there. So you really don't have to worry about a certain torque, like it's not going to need to bottom like you would, an engine part or a cover or something. It's going to bottom on its own. So just, decently tight. You don't have to get crazy with that.
Really just tight to the point where you can get that cotter pin in the hole. So you just want to turn that castle nut so that you can get to that hole.
That's good. That one's good. Yep. Me and Mark are learning to dance up here, too.
I know. You guys look good.
No idea. Spin that around? No.
If you need anything, just let me know. I don't have slides for this, so I don't have a job right now.
What happened? You
I
ran
got
out of slides?
You don't have slides for the rockers or anything.
I think we do.
Real nice.
Oh.
No, you don't. If you do, they're way at the end. You're out of order.
I think I am.
You're out of order.
I hold myself in contempt. Okay, so
Now I've gone back too far.
let's flip that back over.
Oh, don't look at that. That's a surprise. Loctite. It's our secret weapon.
Okay, so at this point we have our rockers back together. We're going to start assembling. Let me get a little drop of oil, yeah. For this, I'm going to use the Lucas synthetic blend of 70/50
And why do you put oil on that?
because Rufino told me to. I'm assuming it because they're tapered, just to aid in those properly seating. You want a little bit of oil to help them get down there good. You want to be careful.
So some of this is stuff that you're just not going to find anyplace too. So, I mean, pay attention. These are tricks from a guy that's built 15,000, rebuilt 15,000 Springers. So, I mean, that's just a heads up tip right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You guys are doing a great job, by the way. I'm real proud of you.
You said that.
As soon as I said it, you dropped it and it fell all to hell. There's a guy taking pictures of your butt.
Okay. All right.
Well, you should. Can you see it on the screen now? Yeah, okay.
Okay, so there we are. Now, the one thing I want to make sure that I clear up for everybody is I was very careful at the bottom of that taper not to get my oil on the threads because threads and Loctite don't mix.
Oil and Loctite don't mix either.
Loctite don't mix.
Yeah, you know what?
Hey, Pat, in a minute here, you're going to finish this front end.
I think I could finish it from here. It was the order in which I just wouldn't have kind of known what
We have
order
some
to do it.
red Loctite.
What's the difference between red Loctite and blue Loctite and green Loctite?
Blue Loctite. Blue Loctite is your off and on for stuff that you're going to be servicing all the time. You use the blue Loctite because it has less holding. You can crack that loose with a wrench. Red Loctite, generally, if you can crack it loose with a wrench, good for you. But usually you have to put a little bit of heat to it. Green Loctite, or what they call thread retaining compound, you literally have to take a torch to it to get it back off.
What wicking? That's the green is wicking as well. Yeah, you can let it seep in, and so it will, and that's why it's never buy green Loctite. I mean, if you're building an airplane, fine. If you got to keep a wing on, but I'm like,
this is just turning.
Either that or the glue they use to put the price tags on anything you buy somebody for Christmas. I don't know what that glue is, but I guarantee you Loctite makes it.
So now we're going to slip in our new spring collars. Okay. Get our axle back in place so that we can bring the tension of that front end back up. This time it won't scare you, Pat, because we're not doing.
You're not going to let it go in a violent way.
We are, but there won't be. The springs will hold it.
Oh yeah,
'Cause that's what we did.
True.
That's how we do.
That is how you're rolling, my brother.
Okay, so yeah, same
Getting
thing.
hip to the lingo.
We're going to go back to 4 1/4.
Holy crap, I've never. Man.
All right, I'm going to get another ratchet strap.
He just shattered a ratchet strap with his bare hands. Sorry we bored you. Where are you going? What's up? Oh, he said he's going to get a hot dog. Bring me one. Hey, how are you? Geico in the house. In the Progressive Parlor. I always like getting pictures of the Geico people in the Progressive Parlor. Yeah.
Hook into that. Oh. Well, here's what we'll do with that.
You're doing a good job, Chris.
I'm trying really hard. I like this garage thing, spending time with you, Pat.
I know. And Mark. Mark, too.
What's that?
That's right.
Doubling my pool. And you have to be careful when you double your pool because there's a whole different coefficient.
Yeah, Dana Menifee's gone. We don't have the math guy here. Would you ever thought Dana knew how to do math if you just ran into him in the street?
You know,
I would have looked at his shoes
Dana
to see if they were Velcro.
I've known Dana for a good long time, so when we had all that stuff coming up about the rake and trail at the first 2 shows. This? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good thing we got this second strap.
You can tell already how much more tension these new springs take than the old ones, though, can't you? It broke a ratchet strap.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Tell me it broke too.
It broke.
Wow.
Ratchet straps and scared me. Do I need to go get another ratchet strap?
No, you'll make it now.
We need a good one.
Do you want me to go get one?
Yeah, you're threading through. You should maybe now just hook it.
Okay, so
This is just like it happens in the shop, man.
over the winter break, we're going to have
why we do this.
have to get some new tools.
Joik on it. BMW doing all right over there?
Okay, here we go again. We removed an unsightly obstacle. Jeez. Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
That did take a lot more effort, as you could see, for those new springs, though. It's pretty remarkable.
So now where we're at, we got our new tops on, again with a couple drops of Loctite.
Thanks for the warning.
Coffee, we need coffee.
Or liquor, but we can't drink that on stage.
So I'm going to start these by hand.
That's what I was
Just so
told.
I don't risk cross-threading them. And then Mark will be able to get those bottom nuts tightened that we put on a little while ago. Because at first the rod is going to turn and not let you do this. I'm going to seat those.
Because, again, they were tapered at that end, so now he's just got them so that they're snugged all the way down, all the way onto that shoulder
Okay,
there.
let's seat that now. It had. Okay. Let me grab this.
That's a great big
It is.
ratchet you got there, buddy. Mark left.
I know. I think he's done with me, Pat.
I don't blame him.
What's that?
Well, we're about to get a 6-week break from each other. We'll be excited to see each other, and well, maybe not excited, but we'll be ready to see each other at the end of January.
Let's not get carried away.
What's the next show?
Cleveland, right?
Cleveland, Progressive International Motorcycle Show in Cleveland, Ohio, home of Progressive. We're on the Progressive stage at the Progressive International Motorcycle Show in the Progressive Parlor.
Good.
So that's good. They're doing a lot of cool stuff over there, too. We've got a good friend of ours, Danny from Pandemonium. He's from Ohio. That'll kind of be his home show. He's over in Flo's Chop Shop in the Progressive Parlor doing demonstrations about maintenance. He'll walk you around the XSR 700 Yamaha that Yamaha's been kind enough to loan to them, and he'll walk you around and kind of tell you how you can do maintenance to your own bike, things you're going to want to look at, how to check that kind of stuff out. So make sure that you get over there and see Danny. And then they also have Progressive has an insurance agent on site. I don't know what his name is. He doesn't look old enough to be an insurance agent, but he's over there talking to people, so I'm sure it's legal. But I'm sure he has, if he's like other agents I've met, He has an encyclopedic knowledge of all things insurance related. You can ask him about motorcycle insurance, car insurance, house insurance, boat insurance, ATV insurance. They even have pet insurance, and that's not a lie. They got pet insurance. He cannot help you with health insurance or life insurance.
No.
Anything other kind of insurance. Commercial insurance. You got it. What's your name? Stuart? So go over and say Stuart in the burgundy ball cap. And
So we're going to have
let's just play a game. You can play Stump the Insurance Agent. Ask him a question you don't think he's going to know the answer to. Stuart will amaze you. He is the David Blaine of motorcycle insurance. It's a whole show he's got over there.
No, just wait. Okay, we're getting our top nuts on.
Top nut, top hat.
I'll get a little drop of Loctite. It's wicking, I'm told.
Wicking.
Wicking.
Not like where Heather's from, or it'd be wicked.
No, not wicked.
Wicking.
Wicking.
That's some wicked Loctite you got there, brother. That's a real pisser.
That's another. That's another one that don't feel great.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, nobody can see it.
I think it's just thread issues we're having today, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty bottom, but I need another ratchet. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Almost there.
All right. Yeah, we are really close, aren't we?
What? Got it?
What do you need, buddy? Oh, there we go.
Yep, that's not it. Straight up.
Yep.
It's always righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I wonder who came up with that. That was pretty smart thing. Everybody uses that, don't they? Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Okay.
I like it.
This one's going to be different.
Nobody you don't use that? No. You need to. Righty-tighty. You do it the other way.
You got to hold that.
Of course, I taught my youngest son righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I had him working in the shop with me, taking the lug nuts off a 52 Dodge Wayfarer, and he ended up breaking the studs because on the driver's side, on the left side of old cars like that, the lug nuts are reversed, just on that side. It's strange. Not on all old cars, but on the Dodge in particular, they were. And so he ended up, ka-pang, ka-pang. I was like, how do you break wheel studs like that? I mean, one after another.
You gonna tighten that one?
I got 4 kids. He's the only one that doesn't like motorcycles and hot rods.
Something wrong with that one.
He's a nice boy.
Remember when somebody's parents used to say that about kids we loafed with?
Exactly. He's a nice boy.
So
It meant that you were getting socially promoted. All right. For those of you just joining us on Facebook Live or wandering around the Progressive International Motorcycle Show here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we are rebuilding a Springer front end off Chris Callen's Panhead because every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, is that what?
40,000.
40,000. Okay. Oh, 5,000 to 7,000. You were riding it a year. So every 40,000 miles, you got to rebuild these things.
All right.
I've never rebuilt one, and neither one of us have. None of us have. But we're doing it, and because this is something that you just don't typically have to do. But as Chris pointed out, it's good for us to be showing people how to do it, particularly with a lot of the younger guys coming into the industry want to build their own bikes. They're going to go to a swap meet and pick up an old Springer, and this way they'll know how to rebuild it.
Just cut that.
So,
We're not going to be able to cut it attention. Put it back on there. Since this one's broken, let's get rid of. Let's hook it to the bottom. We'll just unhook this.
Okay.
you don't want to just cut it?
Nah, I'd rather not.
You're going to try to fix it?
No.
I'm gonna take it apart.
Dear Lord.
Okay, yeah. See if we can get it. Yep, now we can cut it. Got the one knife, let's cut that.
Nice to see they let you off of your sharps restriction, Pat.
Yep.
Have a knife in your pocket.
Man, I tell you what, the halfway house on that now is super easy to get along with.
So you see, whenever we let go of that, the top springs got their pressure back. These ones evened out. We can get rid of our pool noodle, our faulty strap, and that's the game. There's our Paughco Springer rebuilt, ready for another 40,000 miles.
There we go.
The only thing we have left to do are throw our cotter pins in. Yep.
Those guys left and came back and didn't bring you a cup of coffee you asked for.
Oh. Right next to the beer, but it doesn't say beer, it says coffee.
Spelled different. It's a longer word. It's confusing. He's wearing a Faith Forgotten.
These are guys that knew me from back in the day, and they're like, "You didn't really mean coffee,
You didn't mean coffee, did you? I mean, we got you something. That's what I meant. I meant a coffee cup without coffee in it.
Okay, let's flip this. Flip this over one more time.
Jackie, do you want to give Stuart a shout out over there? Because Stuart has the encyclopedic knowledge of all things insurance related.
I know everybody's working hard over here at the parlor. If you're just now tuning in or walking past over here, the Grease and Gears guys are up there rebuilding those awesome forks up there. But the parlor is still up and running as well. Don't forget, so come on over here. Make sure you get yourself hooked up with a free barbershop service back at Flo's Chop Shop. You can also ask any questions you have about bike maintenance with our in-house mechanic, Daniel. We are also still signing folks up right now here at the Ural Sidecar to get yourself a free airbrush tattoo over here. Get signed up for any of these awesome services, and I'm going to throw in a free chamois for my swag counter over there. And last but certainly not least, if you are a Progressive policy holder, come on over here. Show me that policy card. I've got a VIP gift waiting for you right now. 1 out of 3 of you here at the show is a Progressive policy holder. And as a thank you for being members of our Progressive family, I've got a VIP gift waiting over there for you over by our local agent who would love to chat with you about making the switch on over to America's #1 rated motorcycle insurance company in the United States for well over 50 years. That's how we do here at Progressive Motorcycle Insurance.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. Progressive has been kind enough to allow us on the stage here, the Progressive International Motorcycle Show. This is our last segment for today. Well, we're rebuilding the Springer front end. We have had a good time here in Minneapolis, though. We went out last night and had the burger of choice here. We had a Juicy Lucy last night. And Chris and I have, I don't know about Mark, but Chris and I have lived with that burger all day.
But we now know about the Juicy Lucy.
We know about the Juicy Lucy. It was delicious. We went to Matt's and got our Juicy Lucy. All right, everybody's like, here's like, yeah, Matt's. You know, that's where it's home of the original Juicy Lucy. That's like when you go to New York City and it has world's best cup of coffee in the window. Everybody here says they have the original Juicy Lucy. But you got a mug. That's fancy. Look at that.
I even hand-delivered that.
Jackie hand-delivered a Progressive customer.
Service. That's how we do over here.
There you go.
Turn it. No, without.
Oh, she signed it. Oh, good.
A little love from us, too.
A little love. There you go. Well, Chris, we got these cotter pins, and then what's next? It's done, huh?
Pretty much. We're going to clean it up a little bit, and you can see we already got the neck stem tapped out of this thing. We're taking a look at it for wear, too, since, like I said, this is a high mileage. I think we got some blockage in our.
Okay. Got a little something in the bolt, huh?
Yeah.
The other reason we do this and we Facebook Live it and let people watch it is we had a ratchet strap just completely disintegrate on us up here on stage while we were doing this. It's going to happen at your shop. We're using brand new rockers, bolts, and where the cotter pin goes through in the manufacturing process, it's got a little burr down in that hole. So going to have to figure out how to get that burr out of the hole so you can put a cotter pin in. He does not prescribe to righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. He said he refused to live in a universe where that was always true. So I don't know what you're going to do with it. Is he yours? Okay. I mean, at that age, you basically own them.
Up here?
You can't get rid of them. It's kind of like a timeshare. He's been really good sitting there, though.
How many kids do you have, Pat?
I got 4.
4.
They're all grown. None of them died. We were real happy. They all tell you they got drug up. I used to want to be, my kids, I wanted them to be, when they were babies, I wanted them to be happy, healthy, and successful, right? And then along about 10, I just wanted them to be healthy and successful. I didn't care if they were happy anymore. And then at some point, as teenagers, I just wanted them to be healthy because legally they had to be. And by 18, I just wanted them out. And that was kind of how my parenting chronology went. I love my kids. I've loved them at every age, but I make a great empty nester. I am a great empty nester.
You know, it was great. I love my daughter, Amelia. I know she's at home watching, and she's on college break right now, doing so good. So anybody that's read the magazine and read Killer's Chronicles, Killer's absolutely killing it in college. But when she first graduated high school, I went to her bedroom door, and I tapped up a for rent sign. She came out with her face like this, and I said, "Good morning, graduate." I said, "Congratulations, you're an adult." As an adult, it's my job as your parent to teach you some 4-letter words. The first one is rent. That leads to the second one, work. Don't like that one? Let's move on to the third one, Army.
Exactly.
As a teenage girl, this one
right
completely unappreciated.
Yeah. We had the rule in our house that once you were 18, you had 3 months. You were either employed, living on your own, you were in college, figuring out how to pay for it, or you were in the military. And our kids, that's just the way it was. Because we'd seen all these kids. They live at home forever. I don't know what.
These ones here.
I just wanted out. Now people, they keep their kids forever. Well, like when we were 18, it was like, you are so gone, man.
We wanted out as bad as our parents wanted us out.
Yeah. My dad got so excited about me turning 18 and leaving, he allowed me to leave when I was 17.
How would you like it if I cleaned the face of your phone while I was up
That's
there, too?
great. That's full service. You must be with Progressive Insurance because that's full service right there, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. So we are we complete with this?
We are. We got our cotter pins in. One last final cleanup. We're going to take this home, put some wax on it, put a blanket around it, and leave it sit there till we get the rest of the bike ready. But that's our Paughco Springer build. Right. You can see this in next month's issue of Cycle Source magazine if you happen to miss it here today or if I didn't cover things well enough.
All right. Well, and everybody now, it's polite to do a golf clap for Chris and Mark. They did such an excellent job.
Like I said, other than cosmetically, I changed my rockers, but really the only things that you're worried about changing in this job are the bushings in the rockers, the rods that the collars ride on for the springs, and the rod collars themselves. Other than that, you can reuse the stuff. Cosmetically, it's up to you what you want, what you don't want, but these are the safety things of a Springer to keep you going down the road good.
Right on. So that is our last segment of Grease and Gears Garage here in Minneapolis. We are going to Mike's clapping. He's like, yay, no more greasing and down.
He's so tired of us.
So thank you, folks, for joining us here. Thank you, folks, on Facebook Live for being with us. If you guys want to follow us, we're building War Pony as a bike we're building throughout the entire 7-show series. It started off as a bare frame by the Washington, D.C. show, the last show of the Progressive International Motorcycle Show series. It will be a running, riding motorcycle that will have built here. Plus, you can watch all of us. You can keep up with us and see lots of really cool stuff. Right here on stage, we're narrowing tanks, building fenders, rebuilding motors. We're doing all kinds of really cool stuff. Just letting you be in our garages, seeing what we do as custom builders. So thanks for having us. We will see you in the funny papers.
Right on.